Thanks everybody for joining us today on this webinar. Today we're going to be talking about the experience of AI-powered ITSM and how that can be unified with IT asset management and how that can be a game changer for you. Before we jump into the demo, a brief introduction of myself. My name is Tim Laws. I'm the Senior Director of our technical sales team here for Symphony AI Summit. And we're going to jump into a quick PowerPoint presentation just to talk about the company overall. Symphony AI is a company that is comprised of 7 different divisions. You can see those divisions on the screen here. We have a media division, financial crime, CPG, retail, industrial, a public sector, and IT service management, which is where Summit comes in. We have over 3,000 employees in 33 countries worldwide, and we are based out of Palo Alto, California. Here is a quick overview of some of our customer base. We're very proud of all the logos that you guys can see here on the screen. I'm sure you'll recognize quite a few of them. We have a large amount of the Fortune 500 companies and Fortune 1000 companies using our software in one capacity or another. Here are some of Symphony Summit's awards and recognitions as well. Very proud of these accolades. More you can see here, this is our direct customer base as well. So you can see KPMG, McAfee, Smart and Final, kind of spans the gamut here. We are the most preferred enterprise class ITSM solution on Gartner Peer Insights. And we've won that award 5 years in a row. We made it in the Gartner Magic Quadrant as an honorable mention last year for 2022. And we are Gartner Peer Insights Voice of the Customer ITSM Platform Choice 5 years in a row as well. We're also a leader on ISG's Provider Lens. And here is an overview kind of architectural diagram of our platform itself. So you can see on the top layer there, we can serve really any department within any organization of any size. It's a very scalable application. We offer multiple systems of engagement as well through web chat. If you folks are using Microsoft Teams or Slack or Google Chat, so on and so forth, they can interact with our platform via those applications as well. Our systems of intelligence, we have intent identification, intent classification, workload management, intelligent self-service, and a very robust automation module. Our solution stack comprises of IT service management, enterprise service management, IT and enterprise asset management, service automation, and a generative AI copilot, which is due out very soon. It's a single tenant architecture. So each customer has their own database and their own application server. We offer an integration hub. We offer a self-service portal designer, robust reporting and analytics, along with workflow and business rules. And finally, the application is kind of broken down into 5 different compartments here. You can see we have IT service management, which is a low-code environment, reporting, personal user dashboards, business rules, etc. Enterprise service management, so those folks kind of outside of IT, HR use case management, facilities management, finance, etc. And then we have an IT asset management side of the house as well, where we can discover assets on various networks. We can do hardware and software asset management, asset lifecycle management, compliance, warranty information, etc. Service automation as well. So we have an agentless architecture there. We can integrate with hundreds of vendors out of the box as well. And this is kind of like your tier 0 support. So we can run tons of scripts at any given time to really kind of automate the service desk. And then our generative AI copilot, which we're going to be using advanced NLUs, service desk intelligence, live agent transfer, and a conversational studio as well. This part is coming soon. All right, that's all for the PowerPoint presentation. A couple of things up front. This is being recorded. We do have a Q&A section in Teams as well. We'd like this to be interactive, so y'all can put your questions in the Q&A and we'll answer those as we go as well. And with that being said, I'm going to pass this over to my colleague, Jason.
Thank you, Tim. So we're going to be covering the our Apex platform today. Just quick introduction for myself. Jason Urey, I'm a senior solutions consultant with Summit. Been in the ITSM space for about 18 years now. Actually ran a service desk for a hospital for about 10 years. So lots of experience in the space. We're going to start here with our Apex platform. I'm going to log in as an end user, give you the experience from an end user perspective, and then we'll move over into more of an analyst, fulfiller role, and then ultimately into an admin role to take a look at the functionality behind the scenes. So logging in here first as Ryan. Ryan is an end user. Ryan's going to get a user dashboard when he logs in. Think of this very much like turning on a smart TV. You've got your applications available to you. So maybe you've got like your Hulu and your YouTube, YouTube TV, whatever that you might have on your smart TV. That's what we're going to have here from an application standpoint. So Ryan has access to like service management and asset management, capabilities. As Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and launch into service management, and I have my user dashboard. So as Ryan, my user dashboard gives me the ability to search through anything within the system here with our search box. Widgets here for logging an incident, logging a request, browsing a knowledge base, going out to the community. Could see any open incidents, things that I've submitted in the past here. And I've got some reporting capabilities as well. That just gives me some ideas of things that I've submitted. You do also have the ability to view multiple different dashboards. So, for instance, if I had maybe wanted maybe I've got an access to a different dashboard, different portal look and feel, maybe with less reporting capabilities. But this is all available to me as an end user based on admin configuration. Once I'm in here, search again. So if I'm having like a VPN issue, I can start searching through this. That's going to give me access to, incidents that I've submitted, maybe, service requests within there, or knowledge articles maybe that can help solve my issue. If I'm searching and it's not assisting me with anything, I can just go ahead and log an incident. So if I click on log incident, it's going to launch me into the new incident screen. You'll see over here on the right our AI suggested solutions. So these will start to populate as I'm filling this in. This is that enterprise service management functionality here from a tenant structure. So I can have access to facilities, human resources, IT. I'm the requester, Ryan. I can categorize my issue. So in this case, I'm having VPN issues. And I can start typing my symptom, VPN. And you'll see here on the right, I do have a knowledge base article, how to configure VPN. Could view the steps there. It's going to launch me into my knowledge base article, give me step-by-step instructions on how to do that. Even gives me a YouTube video of how to set up a VPN. That might be a solution for me. I could go ahead and rate that. I can provide feedback on that knowledge base article if it solves my issue. If not, I can go ahead and start submitting that ticket. So I'm going to say I'm having a VPN issue. See some additional things popping up there for me. Unable to connect to the VPN from my laptop. And I could attach something here if I've got a screenshot. I can also just paste that screenshot into the description here, whatever is needed from me. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Oh, VPN issues on my laptop. And click Save. It's going to go ahead and submit that incident for me, show me that incident was submitted, and it's going to bring up my incident list as well, so any incidents that I've submitted in the past. From there, I can also log a request. So logging a request will bring me into my service catalog. So access to different service requests, so that VPN access, maybe that's something. Maybe the reason I don't have I'm having VPN issues because I don't have access. So I can click on that and then launch into our VPN access request. Also on this portal, the users will have access to our digital agent. So this is going to be that AI-powered digital agent. This will be, going through based on the user's, questions. They might get, a knowledge base article. It can walk them through submitting a request. You can also take this a step further with our service automation. So a user could maybe say, I need access to a folder. It could walk them through submitting that request. And then the service automation can pick that up and based on an approval could run a script to provide them the access that's needed. So it's very much a zero touch scenario in that case, saves your analysts time so they're not having to go through and provide that access if it's something that service automation can pick up on and do for them. So as you start typing, it's going to try to capture details. So need shared folder access as an example, and then we'll walk through that. It's also going to get, again, we can tie this into other systems. So you could have other systems of record that it can leverage. So it can, maybe you want to ask it what your PTO policy is. It can reach out maybe to your HR system and provide that input as well. So as a user, I also have access to some other capabilities over here on the left-hand menu. So maybe some reporting or something like that that maybe I have been given access to. I can do all of that there. I'm going to log out as the end user, and I'm going to go ahead and log in as an analyst. So I'm going to log in as Maxwell here. So Maxwell is going to be an analyst in the system, a fulfiller, if you will. Same experience for Maxwell, access to the user dashboard here. Going in as service management, though, he's in the analyst role. His portal is different than the end user, so still searching capabilities here, but a lot more from a workload standpoint, reporting, team workload. So all of your dashboards here with reporting for your analyst. Analysts can also do their searching. So, VPN issue as an example, can search through and look through incidents and service requests, change requests, problem records. So everything that this analyst has access to can search through and find those things in the system. Over here on the left-hand side, though, for an analyst, access to like incidents as an example. So I want to work on incidents. So I'm going to go into my manage incidents list. Within here, my list of incidents, I do have the ability to change my view. So I've got, my view is my team incidents. I can, create new views in here. I can switch my view to, open incidents in here. There's my VPN issues on my laptop that I submitted within the system. So if I want to have access to that, I can click on the incident ID and actually hop into the incident. You also notice along the top is that enterprise service management with HR and facilities, filtering capabilities within here, and the ability on each individual column. We can do filtering and sorting on the columns, reorder the columns, so drag and drop the columns around or change the size of the columns as needed for your particular view. Analysts can also submit new tickets up here in the upper right, or again, view the ticket that that's already been submitted. So if I want to work on this ticket, I now have my incident pop up. You'll notice here that we have our AI suggestions popping up here as well. So this is, AI for your analysts. I'm going to suggest, work groups, impact, urgency, category. So things that based on, historical data, we can make suggestions for those analysts to apply to the ticket. So it can automate some of that process. We can also turn those off, and you can provide justification of why you're not using that. So it will continue to feed that AI to get better over time. Now that's popping up automatically when I log in. It doesn't have to. We can also have that not pop up automatically, but still have that accessible up here in the upper right-hand corner with our AI suggestions there. Now viewing the incident, we've got our symptom description, we've got our statuses up here in the top, so we can move it through whatever workflows we have. You'll notice who the person is there on the right, and we can see work group that it's assigned to, and analysts that we want to assign it to. We do take a tabbed approach here, general information that was filled out by the individual, the prioritization that was set. The prioritization, classifications, categorizations, all those things can be automated through workflows and business rules. And we'll take a look at that from an admin function here as well shortly. Messages with the users so we can communicate with them, but also add notes for ourselves in a private log so we can keep track of things. Obviously, private log, not everything that you need to log on a ticket needs to be communicated with the end user. So we can put in our own information without sending that information to the user with the user communication log. We also have the ability here to do links. This is where we link into other parts of the application. So we can link this to knowledge articles. We could link it to maybe a problem record. Maybe we've had a lot of incidents coming through for the same thing, and we need to link them to escalate that to a problem and link that or link it to a change record there as well. So and a history of what happened with this ticket. So timeline of as things go through, you'll keep a running history in that timeline section. So you're seeing all the information that's changed throughout the ticket life. All right, I'm going to cancel that. As I mentioned, you've got other options over here with your service requests, your change records, problem records, and knowledge. So all of your, service management practices are available for you. I will switch now to a log out here as Maxwell, and I'm going to log in as Frederick. So Frederick's going to be our admin within the tool. So Frederick is a what we'll call a platform admin. So you'll notice that Frederick's got a little bit different view here, still access to the different applications as we would call them here with the user dashboard. But the platform dashboard gives you an idea of what the platform is built, how the platform is built. So we have a domain and subdomain approach coupled with tenants, and then within your tenants, you have your application layer. So that's where your service management, your asset management, all those are applications within the that are mapped to your tenants. Your tenants are going to be that enterprise service management approach with your IT facilities, HR. What do those departments, what are they supporting? Do they need access to service management and asset management? Do they only do service management? So you would do mapping of your applications to those. Now, again, Frederick is a platform admin, so he's going to be able to manage the platform. So maybe going into service management as an example, and managing the platform from there, creating domains and subdomains, maybe creating tenants, setting up user access with authentication and roles. All of that's available for Frederick to create those. And then in addition to that, Frederick will have access to the design studio. So everything that we were looking at from your dashboards, your forms, everything that you saw there, it's all designed within the studio. So in the studio, we can do application design. So we're under our service management application. This is where we can set up themes. Our themes for, color coding and branding, all of that's designed within themes. So we can configure those themes with your different, layouts and component themes, button controls, like how do you want those to look? What colors do you want to use for those? All of that's done for the application design. It's also where you're setting up your service portal. So those different portals that we had. So we had that end user portal, like the nature theme as an example. That's designed in here as well. So our portal design, you can see we've got that background image, and then we've got all these different layouts here. So you can see from a layout standpoint, we can split the screen however we want, and then we can add widgets to the screen. So we can add, image widgets, text widgets. We can do action widgets. So all of these are kind of action widgets. So this particular one has log incident. So when obviously I clicked on that, we went to the log incident page. That's designed by configuring that particular widget. We configure it to, with the title, and then we configure like our data source. What do we want it to open, and how do we want it to open? So all of that's done within configuration of that particular widget. So this is all kind of out of the box, configuration, but you can see where we'll have a lot of capability to modify that as needed. That's configuring again from your service portal standpoint. We also have module configuration. So within the modules, so when again, service management, we're under incidents and service requests, CMDB, all of those are modules. Once we select our module in here, we have our form designer. So our form designer is configuring that form that you saw for the incident as an example. So if I'm search in here or manage incidents, manage incidents is my form. The form itself is designed in here with the design form section. So we have those same controls, same widgets, and things that we can build on this form. So you can see how this is designed in the system. So we already looked at that view from the incident. As an analyst, I'm working this incident. We can see how it's designed in here and how we can modify it. In addition to those forms that you're designing, you then also have the ability to do business rules and workflows. These are your kind of your if-then statements. So from a business rule standpoint, if I just select one of these you'll see where we have the ability to do triggers, conditions, and actions. So trigger when it's going to get triggered, what conditions need to be met so that it is triggered, and then what's the action that we're going to take. So if we always run this and we take an action, are we going to create a record? Are we going to update fields? So this really, again, can help you automate a lot of these processes, things that you would do on a regular basis. Business Rule Designer is going to allow you to do those things without, again, human intervention for that. This is available on all modules as well. So everything you see, business rules, workflows, notifications, configuring APIs, all modules will have that capability. So it's very flexible in order to create like a custom workflow, for example, with approvals and conditions, notifications in here as well. So we can create those different workflows when incidents come in. So again, we're automating those processes as much as we possibly can to simplify things. I didn't go through this. I actually log back out. I did want to show the asset functionality in the system as well. And then we'll switch over and see if we have any questions from the team. So I'll just go in to asset management here. logged in. So from an asset management standpoint, again, same dashboard that I'm seeing, but this is specifically for the asset management application. Now we can get your assets into the system in multiple different ways. We've got agentless and agent-based, asset discovery that can be configured. We also have import capabilities, and we can leverage like integrations with other tools like your, SCCMs, your Intunes, Jamf. So any, applications you might be using to, handle your assets, we could integrate there and pull them into the system. Um, from an asset standpoint, we have things from consumables, fixed assets, accessories. So all of those are available when we view our fixed assets. That's going to show us, different status of those assets, new assets, whether they're in store, like in storage, basically, allocated. So assets that have been allocated to a user or department. Those that are in repair, in transit, and even inactive. So things that maybe you don't have anymore, but you still wanted to keep the history on it. We'll keep those in the inactive status there. So, and then from your assets, this is again a form that can be customized for your view. We have, this one has like a workflow associated with it, with, approvals. So when it gets assigned, maybe we do approvals or we get users to accept those assets. And then we'll keep track of, any information that's found with that asset, like specifications of hardware, any software discovered, things like that will be pulled in. We can track your warranty start and end dates, and then even link these assets to your incidents automatically using those the workflow within the tool as well. So assets can also be, again, you can allocate those assets. We can move those assets. We can, send them to repair. So we can kind of handle your assets from the entire life cycle of those assets. And with that, I'm going to check. Tim, do we have any questions or any comments you'd like to throw in as well?
We have a couple questions in the chat. So they want to know, is the solution ITIL certified, and if so, and how many practices is the first one?
Yes. So this is our Apex platform. So our version 5 platform has been certified in 12 ITIL processes, and this one has been built for ITIL best practices, and yet to get certification on those. But that is coming soon.
Awesome. Next question is, what's the standard implementation timeline we're looking at nowadays?
Sure. So our implementation timeline, we typically take like a phased approach to that. We want to like kind of get maybe your end user facing things up first, and then kind of phase it from there. But it's about an 8 to 12 week approach, depending on the environment.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. And then finally, where is this solution hosted?
Sure. So we really are cloud agnostic when it comes to this. We primarily host with Microsoft Azure, but this is an environment that we can host with any cloud provider. So if you have your own private cloud, you're using Google Cloud or AWS, it doesn't really matter. We can host it wherever it needs to be hosted based on your security and infrastructure requirements.
Okay. And there's actually some other questions in the chat itself. So one of them is, can you create new applications for different tenants? If not, what are the available applications? I guess kind of out of the box there.
Sure. Yeah, so you can design your own applications. We have applications out of the box are going to be your, service management, asset management, the automation discovery. But you can see where we've got, in this particular demo environment, we're building applications for like HR and maybe expenses or recruitment. So we can build any other applications with, sets of forms and modules that can handle any of those processes that you have.
Sure. Awesome. And then we've got one from Anthony. He wants to know what version we're presenting. They're currently on Tahoe. And this looks very different when it comes to the customization of adding tables and resizing, things like that as well. So Anthony, this is Apex or version 6. So this is our latest release that was announced a couple of weeks ago as well. And you're absolutely right. This has a ton of customization. You can basically make the look and feel however you want. You can have as many columns as you want, make certain screens wider or more narrow, things like that as well. So there's way more control in kind of the look and feel when it comes to the designer itself. Jason, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Nope, that pretty much covers that.
Yep. And then Catherine wants to know if we as admins can build these applications and is it code heavy? So you absolutely can. So we kind of, the thought process there is you have someone that's the admin or like the designer of the application itself. And that could be someone per, I guess, maybe tenant or domain. So you might have someone for HR that can have access to do that, one for IT, et cetera. And it's not code heavy at all. So as Jason was kind of going through the design studio there, it's mostly just click, drag, and drop. You pick kind of the size of the, different areas of the screen that you want. You pick the data point type, whether it's like a drop down or a pick list or et cetera, et cetera. But it's all designed to be very user friendly and be low code or no code out of the box. So Anthony wants to know, chat AI, does it do this learning or is there a set question responses that are pre-populated? So it's kind of a mixed bag right now with that, Anthony. So Cindy, our current version is kind of, you kind of guide the user down a predefined path. What we're coming out with very soon, and we'll have a webinar coming up on that, is going to be our generative AI and our co-pilot. And that's going to be using large language models. And that's going to be more kind of on the fly, a very conversational interface that can pull data from multiple sources when the end user or the analyst asks it a question. So that's more of a, you're kind of guiding the co-pilot where you want to go. And that's more in line with kind of the, I guess like Chat GPT or those kind of co-pilots out there where it's not a predefined use case that you're walking through. What does change management look like? I don't know if we have that module built out in here, Jason, in this demo environment.
Yep. So you'll have, you'll have change capability in here. So, so we have our timelines that are available. This is based on the workflow that you would create for the different types of changes. So you can build that timeline with your different approvals, CAB approvals, description of your change, your categorization. So this form, is pre-built again, but this is, a form that can be modified based on your needs. So as we saw before, it's just another module within the design studio. So we could go into that design studio and modify these, the fields that you're seeing on the screen and how things are laid out. We do have the same capability in change as the Tahoe or Elbrus version with some added functionality with the business rules and workflow design and notification design in the studio.
Yeah, I think that's something really important to touch on. I know you did earlier, Jason, but the notification designer and the workflow designer, you can add notifications and workflows to basically any object in the system now. So you can have specific asset workflows for specific types of assets, workflows for specific types of changes, incidents, problems, releases, et cetera, et cetera. And it can be very, very detailed. So you kind of just use your imagination when it comes to all the capabilities you can do with the workflow. Same thing with a notification designer as well. That's going to be incredibly robust too.
Yeah, but notifications can go out through email, SMS, and we've got Microsoft Teams built out we're adding additional notification features for things like Slack and Google Chat. Those are
Google,
going to
yep.
be added. So we'll have additional capabilities. So you won't just have to receive an email notification. We can, notify someone through Teams when it hits a certain point. In a workflow or just in general, if you want to send notifications when, tickets are created, you want to just post something into, a Teams channel, we can do that.
Yep. Awesome. I don't see any other questions in the chat. Thanks everyone for posting those. So looks like we are good to go. I wanted to thank everyone for attending our webinar here. Jason, that was a great job, man. Thanks for walking us through Apex. Oh,
Absolutely.
one more. I spoke too soon. How does the CMDB tie into change? So that'll be, similar to the way that it is today. You'll be able to pull from or link an asset in the CMDB or the asset management module into a change. We'll have, you can have change blackout windows. You guys can have, obviously roles and permissions are going to fit into that as well. But that would just be as simple as adding, a link to the CMDB within a specific type of change or within that application itself. Can you create custom CI classes? Yes, you can. Yep. Yep, you have full capability there. I'm going to pause. I know I'm going to say we're no more questions and we're going to get a couple more.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Brent, yeah, we can certainly, that might be another webinar idea for us to go into actual CMDB. That could be something we can do later on. That's a good idea. So keep an eye out for that. Cool. All right. Well, Jason, again, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for attending the webinar. We will be doing these much more often as well. So keep an eye out for the invitations. And with that, I think we can say goodbye. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.